Hey folks, Homestead Ed here. So today I'm going to make up some bread. I'm thinking I'm probably going to make a few hoagie rolls and maybe a couple of regular sandwich rolls out of this. But I really just wanted to show you how simple it is to make bread at home by yourself from scratch. You don't need a bread machine. This is real simple stuff. To do this, what I need is a cup of water and a package of yeast. Now, I already threw my yeast in the water. I like rehydrating my dry yeast first just to make sure it's looking good. And what I did here is basically I got some water about 95 degrees or so. I put a tiny bit of sugar in there and threw in a package of yeast. And you can see already it's starting to foam up. That means my yeast is alive and it's doing well. To that I'm going to add 3 cups of flour. Now I have bread flour here, but you don't necessarily need to use bread flour. You can use all-purpose flour. That works out just fine. So we'll just get that in the bowl here. 3 cups of flour. I'm going to put in a tablespoon of sugar. What I really like is to put in a tablespoon of dry milk. You can get this in the supermarket. It goes a long way. I think it makes the bread taste delicious. So a tablespoon of dry milk. And just like a teaspoon, maybe a teaspoon and a half of salt. And 1 tablespoon of vegetable oil. You could use olive oil, whatever you want. I'm just using cheap old Western vegetable oil. We're then going to take our yeast and dump it in there. And start mixing this up with a spoon. In a little bit I'm going to have to stick my hands in here. What I'm looking to do is get this dough to form a ball. And once I get a decent ball, I'm going to take this dough, cover it. And a little secret that I have here, I'm going to cover it with you know, like a regular dishcloth or a cotton cloth. But a little secret I have here is what I normally do is I turn my oven on, set it at 400. That's what we're going to cook the bread on. It's 400. So I'll turn the oven on just for like 30 seconds. Just get it a little bit warm, shut it off, and that's where I sit my dough to let it rise. So we're going to mix this up, stick it in the oven, you know, just as a warmer, and let it rise for about 45 minutes or so until it doubles in size. And then we'll turn the camera back on and I'll show you the rest of the process. So here I go getting my hands dirty. I'm going to stick it in there, and in a little bit I'll turn the camera back on and show you how it comes out. So here's the beginning of our bread. That little dough ball you see sitting there. All the ingredients are mixed together. I turn the oven on for about 30 seconds on 400 just to make it warm. And now I'm going to cover this dough with this dishcloth here and just pop it in that oven. Now you want to make sure, don't leave your oven on. We don't want to cook this, okay? I'm just making a warm spot to put it. You don't need to do it in the oven. You could put it anywhere. But I just find this is the easiest spot for me. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to throw it in that little warm oven and let it sit there for about 45 minutes, half hour. I'll probably check on it in a half an hour or so. And what we want to see is we want it double in size. It should be nice and puffy and double in size. So in a little bit I'll turn the camera back on and we'll see what's happening. Well, here's our dough. You can see it's about double in size. It's been sitting for about 45-50 minutes now, and it's ready for the next stage. So what we need to do now is punch the dough down. There's a couple terms here I'm talking about. I don't know if you're new to baking. Punching it down is simply taking your hand and punching the dough down. And I don't know if you heard that little there. That was the gases escaping. So that's pretty important. You want to do that. Then we're going to take it and we're going to bring it over here and knead it. Now I'm trying to do this by myself because my camera lady went on strike. So I just simply put a little bit of flour down here on the countertop. And let me see if I can adjust this a bit. No. Okay, well this is the best I can do. And kneading is simply taking your dough and folding it over, pushing it down. This would be a lot easier with two hands. And then folding it over again, pushing it down. I'm going to do this a bit. Knead it up maybe about 30 times, 30 folds or so. And then I'm going to put it back in that bowl and let it rise again for about another 45 minutes. Hopefully by that point I will have my camera lady back here and I'll be able to make this look a little bit better. But just so you get the basics of kneading, you're just taking your dough, folding it, moving it around, and folding it again. Here's a picture of the dough after we kneaded it. You know, we let it rise for 45 minutes and then we kneaded it one time, punched it down and kneaded it. And we're going to let it rise for about 45 minutes or so until that's double in size again. So the second rise is done and I'm ready to start forming this into some loaves and maybe some rolls. Okay, so I'm just cutting up the dough right now. To form it into my loaves. I decided I'm going to make like 3 hoagies out of it and a couple sandwich rolls. So this extra I'm going to knead in and make a couple sandwich rolls out of this and a few hoagies. So you see I just divided it a little bit and then I'm going to squish it down and form it into shape, make it into a hoagie. Here on the cookie sheet, if you have parchment paper, that's the way to go. You put parchment paper down there, that way it doesn't stick. I don't have any, so I use some of this cooking spray, sprayed it on there. A little bit, I'll get this going. Once I get my rolls and my bread, my hoagies set, I'm going to cover them again with that dishcloth. And I'm going to let them sit for another 20-25 minutes, half an hour, something like that, as the oven preheats to 400 degrees. And then I'll bring you back and I'll show you how we finish it off. Okay, well I got my camera lady back and I just want to show you the end of it all. We're just about done here, guys. Here is the bread that I made up. So I showed you earlier, I set it into loaves, so I'm going to have 3 loaves and a couple sandwiches. And I also heated up a little bit of butter here. This is a key thing, you know. And another very important thing, at this point what I want to do is just cut a couple slits right into the bread. So I'm just going to cut a small slit into each one. These I'll probably do like a diagonal on the sandwich rolls there. And then I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of butter on this. This gives it a nice golden tint on the top. You could have one of those fancy, I don't know, a paintbrush. But then you got to clean it. So normally I just take a paper towel, get my butter melted and sprinkle a little bit on each one. And that's it. I'm going to pop this in the oven and in a few minutes I'll show you what it looks like when it's all done. Okay, we're ready to take out the bread. It's been 20 minutes, and just to say it again, 20 minutes, 400 degrees. And there we go. Nice and simple. Delicious bread. Well, thanks for watching this video, and hope to see you soon.